Hi everyone, it's Eileen. I wanted to show you how to use the teacher pages that are included in my Fluency Passages packs, the digital format for Google Slides. So what you'll see is right at the beginning you'll have the different tracking sheets, and I will go through those, but basically the biggest difference between those is that one doesn't have a spot for comprehension check while the other one does. So it's kind of up to you. I recommend using the one with the comprehension check, but if you're short on time and you don't want to record their comprehension score, you can just use the first one. I also have a list of the comprehension questions for every single passage included in those levels, but you will also have an actual page for students to complete where they're actually typing in their answers. But again, if you are short on time and you just want them to tell you their answers, you can go ahead and ask the questions verbally and have them respond with their answers verbally instead of typing it out. Then next come the two different awards. These are ones that you can share with students later on as they're doing a great job improving their fluency. And basically what we do here is just click in the box and you'll write the student's name, and then you can actually share just that slide by going to File and making a copy of just that slide, and you can go ahead and share it with the student. You can also download it as an image or as a PDF and send it to them that way. The next thing is the actual page that you're going to be marking up as the student is reading. So one thing you'll want to do is add a timer, and I'm going to do a real quick version of that to show you what you do. You can also just use your phone or whatever you have as a timer, but if you want, you can go to Insert, Video, and what you're going to do is go ahead and search. I already searched for it. You're going to put in the search box what you want, 1 minute timer, select which one you want, click it, and then what you'll see is it'll show up right there for you. You can make it smaller and put it wherever you want, and when you want them to start reading, you go ahead and click the timer, and then once the minute is up, you'll be all set. So you're going to start the timer. The student will be reading their story in their passage page while you are going ahead and marking up how they're reading and what they're doing. So I have the 3 different boxes at the top. Each one represents a different day, and you'll see that is consistent across the page. The red is for the first day, blue is for the second time they read it, and the pink is for the third time I read it. The only thing that isn't really matching up to that is the smiley faces. Those can be done at any point, either after the first, second, or third read. That is up to you. But basically, if a student starts reading and they say, I see a dig. If they said dig, you would bring this box, and I would make a copy of it. So depending on a Mac or a PC, you're going to be making a copy of it or duplicating it. So you're going to save that one up there, and then you're going to type in it and say whatever they said. So if they said dig, I'm going to put dig there. So that's one error. Then they're going to keep going. I see a cat. I see, and then let's say the timer went off. Then you're going to stop there, stop your timer, and move the marker. So that was their first time reading it. Then you would go back and say, okay, they got that's 8, 9, 10, which you can see there's the number of words at the end of each row. And okay, so they got 10 words, but they did 1 error. So you would put 9, and then day 1, they had 1 error. Then you would go back and do the same thing on the next day. Maybe that time they didn't make any errors. Maybe they made more errors. Whatever it is, you're going to duplicate and copy the thing and go ahead and always type in there. And you can change the font size of that if it's a longer word so that it fits in there. But basically your point is that you're writing what the error was and just moving it above the word. For the higher levels, since there's not as much space in between the lines, you might want to put it just directly over the word, and you can always change the size of these boxes as well to make it fit however you need it to. But then each time you're going to go ahead and mark up how many errors they made and their score. And I always, if they self-correct, that doesn't count as an error. It might be something you want to mark somewhere. You could even do, I have an example where you might just put self-correct in there so you remember that they self-corrected, so you're not counting that as an error. And then each time you would move wherever it is that they ended, and it might be in the same place. They might make the same errors, so then you might have this as a pink one. They again said dig, whatever it is. And then you're going to put their score there. Then for this part, the fluency check, This is another one you want to do just verbally with them. You can ask them, okay, I want you to tell me which ones you think you did today. Did you read at a good pace? Did you read too fast? And whatever it is that they say they did, you would move it into that little box. You don't have to use all three, but if they did feel like they did three different things, you can do it. Then you can say, okay, I want you to make one fluency goal based on how you read today or how you read during this passage, and then you would type it in for them. So if there's someone who was reading too fast, they would say, I will read slower. Okay, and then that would be a goal for them to complete the next time they read a passage. And both the fluency check and the fluency goal, again, it's up to you how you want to do it. You can do it after the first read, or you can do it all the way at the end of the second read or the third read. It's totally up to you, however you feel is best fitting for them. Then once you have all these scores, so I'm just going to put in, let's say 12, and say they got 12 again here. Once you have all these scores, you're going to actually take this number from each day and put it back in the chart on page 1 or 2. So this is for your own knowledge. You don't have to do it right away after this, but you can. It's totally up to you. You would go through and, like here I have the example. You put the date and the number they got for their score. This is a great reference page, like if you are doing team meetings or you are talking to parents about their child's reading, you can give them examples of how they're doing and how they're making progress, or if there's still an area that you want them to focus on. But basically, this is just one way to get them to, for you to see how they're doing and if they're progressing. Now, they might be a number, have read 8 words in the first passage and then read only 4 in the second passage. That doesn't mean that they're going backwards. It just might mean that that passage has more difficult words for them, and then it can give you an idea of what they should focus on at that level. And the goal is to keep moving through the levels. So even if you have a student who's instructionally at a level C, you can have them start at level A, because you do want them working at their independent level when they're focusing on fluency. So you could have them start with a level A passage, go through those first, and then work their way up. And as they're improving their fluency, they might also be increasing their abilities as a reader, most likely. So then you will also have them start to be reading independently at that level that may have been their instructional level prior to that. So basically that's it for every single passage. You have them all in there and you'll follow the same format. Hope that helps.